Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good night, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. I just want to come and give you some updates and answer a comment or a question in the form of a comment, or a comment in the form of a question. And it said, "Hey Quincy, tell me about your experiences with regular jobs and what inspired you to become an entrepreneur." So, plus I have some bonus at the end of this, and where am I now? So, let me answer your question directly. My experience with regular jobs is you got to be very careful who you share your dreams with, because you have employees and you have bosses. A boss can be an employee, but it's all about a mindset. So, I remember when I had a 9 to 5, and I would share my dreams and what I wanted to do with employee-minded people. And, they would down talk to tell me what I couldn't do. It was a classic story. You can't do this, and look at your situation, look at your money, look at what's going on in the world. You can't do it. So you got to be very mindful. Other than that, it was just the politics of having a 9 to 5, the politics of it all, having to kiss butt or shake hands and kiss babies and laugh at the supervisor's jokes when they wasn't funny, and trying to be to work on time and having life issues. So I was like, you know what? I'm done with this rat race. There has to be something more, something I want to do. So that was my experience with a job. And then there is no such thing as job security. This leads to another question I had. I was talking to an employee-minded person, and they was like, well, what are you going to do, about job security, and I was like, I'd rather build my life on putting in my best efforts to make a better life for me and my family than to come to a job and then one day they tell me that you're fired. Now, everything that I built my world around was off this job, was predicated off this job. So once I lose the job, I have nothing to fall back on. So I, took a risk on myself. So that's what led me to. I've seen a lot of people get laid off. I'm not really to office politics, and I just, I think I feel that there's something more for me. On the other side of fear, there's something more for me. So that was the inspiration that I need. I've seen people get fired. I've seen people get stabbed in the back by other coworkers that had employee mindset. I've seen managers like I said, suck up and just mistreat people. I've seen good managers too. It wasn't all bad, but I wanted more. So that's what inspired me. And a question one of my coworkers asked me during the time is, what are you going to do? If this doesn't work? And I was like, well, I'd rather do that with a very low percentage of it working than getting comfortable at this job and then all of a sudden I come to work and I'm fired because I was late too many times, and my kids were sick, or I was going through something in my relationship that, I didn't have my best at that point in time. However, being an entrepreneur, there is a lot more work. It takes more than business cards and t-shirts and putting labels on the side of your car. It takes more than saying I'm a boss. It's a lot of work. It's more work than you anticipate. It's more money. It's more time. It can be done. It's just a mindset. It's about not being afraid to fail. It's a whole different set of skills. It's easier to go work with somebody, even though the supervisor, the boss may get on your nerves. It's easier for somebody to say, okay, come in at 9. This is what you need to do for the next 4 to 8 hours. Here's your break, and here's your paycheck. You know when you're going to get paid. Entrepreneur, you may work 22 hours. You may work 4 hours. This glamorous life of entrepreneurship that you getting home, you making mailbox money, and you working 10 hours a week, and you're making $5,000 a week, in your spare time. No, entrepreneurship, it's a grind. It's a legitimate hustle. It's a grind. It's facing your fears head on. It's putting money behind yourself. It's not being afraid to fail. And so what, I may fail. So I hope that answered your question about my experience with jobs. But here's an update. Here's a twist to the whole plot. What I would advise someone before they quit their job and just be this fledgling entrepreneur, especially if you have a family, because you owe your family a quality of life. If you have kids, you have a wife or a significant other that depends on income, you have an obligation to them first. Okay, before your business, you have an obligation to them first. So what I would suggest, if you have a steady stream of income, I would leverage that in building my business. Meaning that, it's a scale. Get this in the camera, it's a scale. So as your business starts to grow, and say your job is right here, Birmingham, your business is right here. And as your business starts to grow, then you can kind of think about leaving your job. And then as your business continue to grow, this is what I would do. I would look at it as a way of, and this is what I did, and I had to go back to this. I'm about to give you a spoiler. I had to go back to this. When I had my job, I allowed my business to grow. And how I did that, I did not take money from my business. Just saying, I'm in real estate. Say that my business produced an additional $1,000 a month. I didn't build my life or start adding debt because I was making $1,000. What I did was pour that back into my business. I kept pouring that back into my business, pouring it back into my business, pouring it back into my business, where my business was able to grow. My 9 to 5 held me and my family down while my business continued to grow. Right? And it started outperforming my job. Now, this is where wisdom comes in at. So a lot of people are not going to tell you. I left my job. And that was back in 2017. It's 2020. I recently had to go back and get a job. That's right. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And hopefully you don't make the mistakes I made. I don't call them mistakes. They're learning. I'm learning. So they're not mistakes. I'm still in the game. Everything is all fine. It's all good. But what I would suggest someone is, if look at what your livelihood is. Say your livelihood monthly is $5,000. You need at least $5,000 to maintain your household and other bills that you have. And your business is probably producing $5,000 a month. Okay? After you pay all your expenses, you have revenue of $5,000. Do not leave your job yet, because you're putting extra stress on your business. And banks do this. They call it a stress test. And they look at worst case scenario. If everybody came and took their money out, what will they have in place to be able to maintain a bank and pay everybody? So if you left your job, would your business be able to still grow and handle expenses and you to be able to live off of it? And in real estate, that's kind of tricky, because a couple of good months, I can make $5,000 money, everybody pay their rent on time, and then come some months, I may have to get something fixed. I might have to do an eviction. Somebody may move out. Turnover may get high. I might change property managers. Something, you can't predict it. You can try to prepare for it, but you can't predict it. This is what I would suggest. If you're contemplating leaving your job, I would give it another 6 to 9 months. All the money that you make from your job, put it in a savings. Do not live off of it. Live off your business solely. Still go to work and live off your business solely for the first 6 months to a year. And if you're able to make it 6 months to a year without touching any of your income, because at this point you're thinking about leaving your job, so you got to just dismiss the income. Don't go buy no more cars, don't get no more debt, anything. So if you're able to make it 6 months to a year without that income from your job, then I was like, okay, then you can probably get really serious. Because what I did, I had this magic number. I said, if I make at least $5,000 a month passive income, I can leave my job. I left my job, and what happened, the $5,000 a month I was making, some people didn't pay their rent, some people had to get evicted, life happens, I take care of my family, and on a good month it would be about $5,000. Sometimes we went over $5,000, but I didn't want to be every month doing this, trying to pay my bills. And be honest with you, I got a little behind. I had to catch back up. So I had to go back to my foundation. My business take care of itself solely, and the job that I have take care of me and my family solely. Okay? So that way, my business will be able to grow, and I won't be taking anything away from my family. Going next time, before I leave this job, I'm going to make sure that I can at least live about a year without touching the income, put that money in the bank, And then after a year, you have all this money saved up. Okay, you take care of all your financial affairs and leave your job on a good note. Okay, because remember, a job is another stream of income. Okay, so I'm just giving you wisdom from what I've learned. I was able to maintain and keep all of my properties that I have, but I was also being able to take care of my family the way they deserve to be taken care of, their quality of life. So I just wanted to share that video. I'm sorry for being long-winded, and this is just kind of off the cuff. And I answered the question. That's what inspired me, and I hope you take this and kind of apply it before you leave your job. Thank you.